Tu llamada perdida. Where like circus elephants, zoo elephants go to spend the later part of their lives. So the LA Zoo can send them there, they just don't want to.
Okay.
So call your city council person, email, text. Every vote counts, as we know that. So yeah, yeah. Do what you can. Go see them inside, you'll get it.
Thank you.
I'm gonna put the small one.
How you doing today?
Don't come at me like that.
Come out, you like how?
Yeah.
You simply said I'm coming in and y'all protesting. I said yeah, because animals deserve better.
That's not what I said.
What are you saying?
I said I didn't know there was a protest in front of the zoo.
Sure.
I haven't been here in years.
Good. You shouldn't be here.
Okay. Why?
Here we go. Billy the elephant. He's been here since he was a baby. 35 years in captivity.
But you've been in captivity for how many years?
Wow. So let's not listen to what I gotta say.
But you're in captivity too.
I am.
Yeah.
From what?
From the United States. This is captive too.
Sure. So
right?
does that make it okay? So does that make it okay?
Why don't we start with people?
Why don't we start with opening your brain and your heart?
Why don't you open yours?
It's absolutely open. I know the United States is crooked. I know we're all stocks and bonds. I know we're all prisoners.
That's why Billy is too.
So why are you going in then? Why are you a supporter of this? He gets electrocuted if he tries to escape. He has no family. You have family.
How do you know what I have?
Because you're a human being.
Well, am I?
And you're a free human being.
A human being? You're not a human being.
So do you not? So hold on. Do you not have family or not?
Do you have family?
Do you have family or not?
You're trying to bring this.
You don't want to answer simple questions because you're a hypocrite.
I'm not a hypocrite.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Go into slavery. Go ahead, prisoner. Go ahead. Wah wah. Poor me.
This is why people don't listen to people.
No, you're a stubborn old woman. That's what you are. Or transgender. I don't know what you are.
A what?
I don't know what you are. You're disrespectful to the prisoners inside. Think about it. Think about it.
You're a prisoner in your own world, bro.
You get the last word. You get the last word.
Read more and find out who you are.
Read more. Why are you supporting this for?
Because I want to.
Because you're selfish. Spoiled, rotten slime ball.
You're ignorant.
How you doing? You curious to know what's going on? ¿Habla inglés o español?
Español.
Español right here. Español. 35 años. Scan the QR code, okay? Yeah, he's been here for 35 years. He's been here since he was a baby. If he tries to escape, he gets electrocuted. He's by himself, so he has no family like you. You got family, right? Yeah. So when you're coming in here, you're supporting his misery. You can always go to a sanctuary if you scan this QR code right here. Sign the petition and get him out. Check out the sanctuaries, bro, and take your kids and you could, or your brother, sisters.
What sanctuary is that?
There's one right down the road. It's called Love Always. It's freaking dope. You can feed the animals, chill with them, hang out with them. Here you're gonna look at his depressed eyes and say, man, why am I here? Why am I looking at this? You know what I mean?
Thank you.
Thank you, man.
We are here in support of a Los Angeles City Council motion to free them to sanctuary. Both Billy and Tina have places to go. Sanctuaries heal elephants. Sanctuaries make elephants happy. Sanctuaries give elephants a chance to reclaim communal life, to make friends. Zoos kill elephants. More elephants die in zoos than they do in the wild. And 50% of zoo elephants die of mobility issues, being stuck in small enclosures is the reason that these elephants die early. And as you walk up to the zoo, you can see two paintings of the two elephants that the zoo killed in the last
don't even see any of the rent-a-cops.
Yeah, that's what I told Corey earlier. I was like, where are all the security?
Look this up.
They didn't expect us today. They usually expect us on Sunday.
Billy or Tina, the two remaining elephants here, you will see them standing still and possibly just bobbing their heads. This is life of
What do I do with my water?
We are here! Advocating for the two
I see apathy is alive and well.
Hasn't changed, right?
I know.
Courtney Scott, I'm the elephant consultant for In Defense of Animals. 2024 was our 20th anniversary of publishing the 10 More Zoos for Elephants, and all that time IDA has been working to free Billy and now Tina. And it's time because these elephants have been suffering, and we're very worried that because of their dire situation, they may not make it out of here before they die. So we've got to put the pressure on to do it now. So I just want to say that these elephants are telling us that they're suffering. Billy bangs his head against the barn door. How many more days, years, and months does that have to go on? Tina sways and bobs in her closet-like enclosure. We have to start paying attention to what they're telling us. I do want to say that I know the LA keepers do care about the elephants. They just do not have the ability to give them what they need to live like real elephants. So we have to step up, and I want to say to the zoo director today, join us. Show that you love Billy and Tina. Release them now. Let them go to a serene sanctuary where there's room to roam, grass and trees to forage on, deep ponds to soak their aching joints, and peace and serenity so they can begin to heal from their years of captivity. And then we urge the LA Zoo to close its elephant exhibit, as 38 zoos have done, including 6 right here in California.
Nice.
We're all very proud of that. So my final note is, let us all use all the power we have to give these elephants the last days of their lives the freedom to live like they were born, wild and free. Thank you so much. And now I want to introduce one of Billy's heroes, former council member Paul Koretz. Paul introduced the first motion to free Billy back in 2009.
Well, hello everybody. It's good to be here, although I wish I wasn't here. I wish the elephants were out of the LA Zoo. I'm a former council member, as was noted. I was termed out a couple of years ago, but until then, I led the effort to try and get Billy out of the zoo, and for good reason. I mean, I think we had a worse general manager than we do now. We have someone who wants to do well for the elephants, but it just can't be done at a zoo. Even the best zoos, and LA Zoo is rated the worst zoo by animal organizations. It's just such an unnatural and cruel situation for elephants. In the wild, they forage, they socialize, they walk as much as 50 miles a day. And yet, for 34 years, Billy has been in this tiny enclosure by himself, and he's exhibited mental illness and the behaviors that we see in elephants, bobbing his head and swaying back and forth and banging his head, and that creates serious mental illness for elephants. It creates physical ailments in their feet. Their feet get cracked, their nails get broken, they get infected, and ultimately sometimes they die from it. And where should they be? They should be in a sanctuary. And we've seen some cases where elephants who have been similarly in difficult, mistreated situations for 30 years or 40 years, and they get out and they get placed in a sanctuary. And the big question is, will they recover? And in many cases they do. And they're happily roaming up and down hills, and they're socializing with other elephants, and their physical health improves. And we've actually had an example of that. Ruby the elephant was released by Mayor Villaraigosa a number of years ago and sent to a sanctuary. And this is certainly something to point out to the zoo, which is we've done it before, and they say it can't be done, we'll lose our accreditation, the zoo will be gone. Well, it's still here. And that elephant was happily running up and down hills and playing in the mud puddles and doing all the things that elephants do. And her keepers came to visit her. And when she saw them, she ran for the hills. And I think that can tell you something about what she thought about her care and what I'm sure Billy would think about his care. And I think there's some real hope that Billy and now Tina could both be released to a sanctuary and could live out their lives like normal elephants and could recover from the mental illness that they face and could recover from the wounds in their legs and could be real elephants. There's no reason why the city of Los Angeles would want to be advocating for mistreating elephants. Part of the problem is I can never get the city council to really pay attention to this. We actually were sued pretty successfully over Billy and the zoo, and we have the person here, David Castleman, who actually led that effort as the attorney. Ultimately, the judge was very critical of the zoo and said that so many of the things that they were doing are wrong, and yet he didn't create a penalty, but he suggested some things that needed to be done. Some modest things like tilling the soil regularly. Even that, I believe, was overturned on appeal, as I recall, with the technicality that they didn't have standing. So in essence, for the lawsuit to have had standing, Billy himself would have had to file it. Now, elephants are smart, but I don't think they have mastered the English language yet. So the attorneys that represented him were found not to have standing. But clearly an objective judge, who clearly was very objective and didn't take sides and didn't have a lot of information before the trial, found the city greatly wanting. And it's been 34 years for Billy. There's no reason to keep this happening. It's time we let him and Tina pack up their trunks and move to a sanctuary, and let's make it happen. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Paul. Those are wonderful, wonderful, wonderful words, and it's so wonderful to see him dedicated year after year for Billy. So thank you so much for coming. Right now, I'm going to introduce the President and CEO of In Defense of Animals, Dr. Marilyn Copeland.
Really close. Okay, close to even. Imagine for a moment you are an elephant, one of the most intelligent and emotionally complex creatures on the planet. You roam vast spaces, form deep family bonds, and have tasted freedom in the wild. Suddenly, without warning, everything you know is ripped upside down. Your family, your home, your friends, and then you're forced into a cage with concrete walls, unlike the wilderness that you came from. Your superb memory as an elephant becomes both a blessing and a curse. It's a blessing because it's helped you navigate through to find food, to find water, to find your mates, your family. But it's a curse also when you remember the wildness and you're trapped in a situation like this. And you long, because you have such a good memory. They have a fantastic memory, elephants. Long-term memory is really great, and their ability, spatial memory is really great. They have the biggest brain of any land mammal, and they're very emotionally sensitive. So they're sort of caught in between two spots. They have all this intelligence on one hand, but then on the other hand, it hurts them because they know they're not where they belong. They're not in their right place. Their identity becomes disarranged. And we call this post-traumatic stress disorder. And in psychiatry, which is my field. And it's when a stressor, when a human or an animal is separated from their family or has seen some very big trauma, they have stereotypies, the animals. We see that in the zoo, in the elephants. Billy's bobbing of his head, Tina's swaying back and forth. But there's a lot of intelligence that's going on deep down inside. And so this is an unnatural situation for them to be in a zoo. It's a very small area. It's they're not getting the kind of their needs met. Saving elephants is about reclaiming our shared humanity. The way we treat elephants mirrors how we treat our planet and each other. And that's really not a pretty picture, is it? By advocating for their transfer to a sanctuary, it's a testament to our ability to identify suffering and to alleviate it, reinforcing our shared humanity. It's time to act. It was time to act 30 years ago. Together we will continue, though, until we finally see results. And I'm so glad to see people here that are activists that are here that have been fighting in this battle for 20 years, 30 years, even longer. We will win. Together we will tear down the walls of captivity. We will fight. We will win. And we will free all the elephants. And thank you for coming. We will free the elephants, Billy and Tina, and bring them to their proper habitat in a sanctuary. Enough of this politics. Enough of this back and forth. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Very fine words. Thank you, Marilyn. Next, I would like to introduce Joshua Moore Morton, the field representative for Assemblyman Rick Chavez Zabor. Can I pronounce the name right? Zabor. Thank you, Joshua, for coming.
Good morning. Okay, can y'all hear me okay? Perfect. Oh,
I'm trying to record her straight real quick. Excuse me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good morning, everybody. My name is Joshua Marin-Mora. I'm honored to be here on behalf of California Assemblymember Rick Chavez-Zbur, who stands with all of you in calling for the LA Zoo to retire Billy and Tina to a sanctuary. And I want to give a special shout out to Courtney, Marilyn, and to In Defense of Animals for bringing the community together and for your tireless advocacy. Let's give them some shout outs here. Assemblymember Zbur was proud to author a letter last year to the director of the LA Zoo asking to release Billy to sanctuary, but now we need to fight for Tina's freedom as well. One of Assemblymember Zbur's top priorities is animal welfare, and he stands with each and every one of you in demanding justice for these elephants. The confinement, the duress is heartbreaking, and it is unacceptable. Unfortunately, too many elephants have died while being held here at the zoo. They do not deserve to live like this. It's past time for the LA Zoo to act. And the fact that all of you are here on a Saturday morning is a testament to our values. And on behalf of Assemblymember Zbur, I wanted to extend his sincere gratitude and appreciation. Thank you very much.
We are so grateful for his support. Please relay that message to him, Joshua. And thank you for being here, for representing him. It's great to know there's somebody in government who cares about elephants. Yay! So I'm very honored and pleased to announce our last speaker until we have a couple words from our co-hosts as well. But David Castleman has been working for years as an attorney, as an activist, as an owner of a wildlife sanctuary in Cambodia to free these elephants. He has already freed one, Kavan, from the Islamabad Zoo in Pakistan, who lived on chains on a concrete floor for years by himself. And now he is swimming in a pond, enjoying this first time to do that and to experience his life as a wild bull elephant. Yay! Thank you, David.
Good morning, everyone. And again, thanks to everyone for taking the time and making the effort. This is a repetitive process. We've all been here many times, and I finally decided that it is time to say something that I haven't really said before, because when the lawsuit that was presented ended up being rejected by the Supreme Court, we won all the way up, twice through the Court of Appeal and all the way up. The Supreme Court didn't even have the courage to use the word elephant in their opinion. If you read that decision, you would not even know what the case was about. And their actual conclusion was that the zoo had a right, the city had a right to a jury trial, but because the case was brought under a statute that permitted injunctions, which is an equitable form of relief, you can't get a jury trial. I offered the zoo a jury trial. I begged them to put this in front of a jury. They refused. They never briefed the issue, and the Supreme Court decided it without anything in the briefs and without any oral argument on the subject. It was infuriating. But it's time that the world, I think, start to hear what the trial court actually said. And I want to put a little perspective in terms of time. I've been involved, like many of you, since many years ago. I formed the Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary with a partner in Cambodia in 2001. Billy was here from 1989. So he was here long before we even started the sanctuary. And then I learned about Billy's plight in 2006. We filed the lawsuit in 2007. The case went to trial in 2012. And during all that time, Billy's been here. And the elephants around him have been dying all during that time. And it continues. The zoo knows the facts. They willfully ignore them. And the facts haven't changed just because the Supreme Court turned a blind eye. I want to read to you from the court's words exactly what he found about this zoo. These are facts that haven't changed. They never will change. And the zoo intentionally misrepresents these facts to the public every day. So I want you to hear, July 2, 2012, Judge Siegel decided this case. I'm only going to read segments. The decision is very long, but the key fact parts, you won't be interested in the legal parts, trust me. The key fact parts are pretty compelling. He starts by saying, all is not well at the Elephants of Asia exhibit at the Los Angeles Zoo. Contrary to what the zoo's representatives may have told the Los Angeles City Council in order to get construction of the $42 million exhibit approved and funded, the elephants are not healthy, happy, and thriving. Then he got into the evidence and said, the evidence does support plaintiff's claim, we're the plaintiffs, which the court finds plaintiff has proved by a preponderance of the evidence. Now what that means is that it wasn't just one person talking. It wasn't just one view. It wasn't just one piece of evidence. The preponderance of the evidence is a legal term that means there was evidence on both sides. Often in a case like ours, there are experts, and there were many. There were contrary opinions. There was underlying physical evidence. There were facts offered, facts rejected. And what happened? He said, plaintiff has proven by a preponderance of the evidence that the ground of the Elephants of Asia exhibit on which the elephants regularly walk is hard, not varied and soft, and the substrate of the exhibit creates a risk of injury to the elephant's joints, feet, and nails. Dr. Ensley, who was one of our experts, opined that the limited exhibit space and the way the walls, fencing, and electrical wiring guide the movement of the elephants over the same or similar paths increases the severity of the compactness of the ground on which the elephants walk, further contributing to their arthritis and joint problems. So you need to understand that while Billy has an area of space that's larger than the old exhibit, he doesn't have access to that larger space. They have dividers that broke that larger space into 4 pens, and each pen is narrowed further by electric wiring that keeps them from getting anywhere near the greenery, the grass, the places they want to go. So they're forced to walk on these little pathways, which make the ground harder and harder every time they walk. The testimony of Curtis Ng, the Los Angeles Zoo's chief veterinarian, of course he was called by the defendants, also supported plaintiff's claims. Dr. Ng testified that the substrate on which the elephants walk can make a big difference in the health of their feet. He, that's Dr. Ng, had actually recommended that the new exhibit install a varied, relatively soft substrate that would allow for cushioning. The zoo, however, ignored his recommendation and built the current exhibit with nothing like the kind of soft substrate he had recommended. Shockingly, he also testified that the keepers have told him that they regularly rototill the soil in the exhibit, when in fact the opposite is true. It is undisputed that the elephant keepers in the Los Angeles Zoo do not rototill the surface of the soil and never have, not once. The evidence also shows that several factors contribute to the hardness of the substrate in the Los Angeles Zoo elephant exhibit. The substrate becomes compacted from elephants repetitively walking on it, and despite Dr. Ng's misinformation, the lack of any turning or tilling of the soil, the undisputed evidence, high school physics, and common sense show that a 6-ton animal repeatedly walking over the same surface area will compact the ground. The problem is compounded by the fact that the available surface area for the elephants is much smaller than the total exhibit space because significant portions of the exhibit are closed to the elephants either for a certain period of time by gates used to keep Billy separate from Tina and Jewel, or permanently by electrically charged or hot wires that keep the elephants away from the areas of trees, brush, and grass within the exhibit, which makes life for the elephants in the Los Angeles Zoo even worse. It is undisputed that the elephants by nature are attracted to and have evolved to need and use trees, bushes, and grass. It is one thing to place electric fencing between elephants and something they are not interested in, and quite another thing, to place such electric hot wiring between the elephants and something that they like, need, and use as part of their natural behavior. Thus, rather than providing the elephants with trees to rub against and knock down as part of an enriched environment that stimulates and elicits species-specific behavior, the Los Angeles Zoo management system tempts the elephants with trees that elephants naturally use to rub against and knock down, but frustrates them by keeping those trees in visual and sensory range, but behind electrically charged wires. The small size of the Los Angeles Zoo has other adverse health effects, in addition to increasing the hardness of the substrate. As Dr. Ensley also testified without contradiction, the relatively small amount of space in the elephant exhibit contributes to contamination, because there's more elephant urine and fecal matter in a small space. This leads to an increased risk and incidence of infection, as the elephants are forced to live longer periods of time with their waste and are unable to leave the areas in which they urinate and defecate. The evidence also shows that the quality of the elephants' lives in the Los Angeles Elephant Zoo exhibit is not good, and this is having serious repercussions for their physical and well-being. Dr. Poole, who was our expert, Joyce Poole, by far and away the most qualified witness at trial, defendants did not present the testimony of anyone with anything near her credentials, her knowledge, or experience, and her resume goes on forever. Dr. Poole testified that the stereotypic behavior exhibited by the elephants, this is the bobbing and rocking, is nothing like she has ever seen in wild elephants. In her almost 40 years of observing and studying elephants, she has never seen an elephant bob or rock its head back and forth in place as much as Billy, Tina, and Jewel do. The court credited all of her testimony, and in response to her testimony, defendants, the zoo, submitted the testimony of Victoria Guarnett, who has been an elephant keeper at the Los Angeles Zoo for 16 years. Ms. Guarnett, although sincerely dedicated to the 3 elephants in her care, has no experience with elephants anywhere but in the Los Angeles Zoo. Moreover, Ms. Guarnett has somewhat shocking gaps in her knowledge of elephants, and for someone with the title Senior Elephant Keeper, had some surprising misconceptions. For example, Ms. Guarnett believes that the head bobbing Billy and Jewel exhibit is a sign of happiness and comfort, like a dog wagging its tail. There is no evidence in the record to support such a conclusion. That Ms. Guarnett continues to believe that such behavior is an expression of happiness and contentment appears to be part of her anthropomorphic fantasy that the elephants are happy to see her and live their lives in captivity. Perhaps most significantly, the testimony of Dr. Oosterhuis, again, a witness called by the defendants. He was the head elephant keeper at the San Diego Zoo, and I have more to say about him, was not much different than an outline of plaintiff's claims in this case, and perhaps as much as the testimony of any witness called by plaintiff supports plaintiff's claims. And that all happened on cross-examination, and I'll tell you why. Dr. Oosterhuis testified that the stereotypic behavior exhibited by all 3 of the elephants at the Los Angeles Zoo, head bobbing, rocking, and swaying, places too much pressure on the elephant's feet and causes cracks in the nails. No matter how good a foot care program is, eventually elephants in captivity will develop foot problems as a result of being kept in captivity. The results of captivity catch up with an older elephant, and lack of exercise is the most important factor contributing to the need for increased foot care. This is the basis of most of plaintiff's claims in this action. Now, there's a long, long list of the evidence that Oosterhuis submitted on cross-examination, and I have to tell you why. He published a book called The Elephant's Foot. It's not publicly available. It's only available to zoos. And the book called The Elephant's Foot tells the truth about what happens to elephants and all the things the zoo has to do to keep them alive because of all the factors that are leading toward their premature suffering and death. and he didn't know I had that book. And his cross-examination began with me asking him if he was aware there was a law in California that it's a crime to abuse elephants. And he said he believes he's heard of it. I said, you believe you've heard of it? I said, sir, isn't it true? You're the reason why there's a law against abusing elephants in California. And he didn't answer. And I said, because you and your team of goons at the San Diego Zoo used axe handles to beat a female elephant by the name of Meladunda until she collapsed. And the outcry when the word got out about that was so bad, even the California legislature decided that they had to pass a law. They had to pass a law that it's a crime to abuse elephants in California because we had just so many elephants running around. They had to pass a law because people like you were brutalizing him. And he was not happy about that. And then I asked him, have you published a book called The Elephant's Foot? And I'd never seen fear in the eyes of a witness like I saw. Because his book listed everything. And I took him quote by quote through his book. And he only gave one-word answers to everything I said for almost 45 minutes. Yes. 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 And every one of those things was a litany of the horrible things that happened to their feet and their legs and their ligaments and their ability to breathe, and on and on and on. So he goes on to say, this is the judge, the testimony of defendants' witnesses, including zoo employees and other treating veterinarians called by defendants, also raises serious concerns about the level of care that the elephants are receiving at the Los Angeles Zoo. Finally, the evidence at trial shows that the 3 elephants at the Los Angeles Zoo are emotionally and socially deprived. It's undisputed that Billy lives and has lived for many years separated from all other elephants. And Ms. Guarnett testified that she has never spoken... Whoops, I missed something. Significantly, the evidence is undisputed that there are tests that the zoo could conduct to investigate whether the elephants are emotionally healthy. Again, they didn't volunteer it, had to come out on cross-examination. Dr. Ng testified that he could test elephant blood or fecal samples for cortisol or adrenaline. And after establishing a baseline, the zoo could use cortisol levels to test the emotional states of the elephants. Dr. Ng confirmed. However, no veterinarian at the Los Angeles Zoo has ever done any work to evaluate the emotional states or stress levels of the elephants. It's just never done, he said. Nor has the zoo ever conducted any cortisol or adrenaline testing to establish a baseline for comparisons. Dr. Ng conceded that the elephants could be under long-term stress and the zoo might not even know it. Thus, the Elephants at Asia exhibit of the Los Angeles Zoo is not a happy place for elephants, nor is it for members of the public who go to the zoo and recognize that the elephants are neither thriving nor happy nor content. Captivity is a terrible existence for any intelligent, self-aware species, which the undisputed evidence shows elephants are. To believe otherwise, as some high-ranking zoo employees appear to believe, is delusional, and the quality of life that Billy, Tina, and Jewel endure in their captivity is particularly poor.
Wow.
That is just the summaries. So I'm done reading. But I do want to point out something else, and Paul Koretz alluded to it. Zoos around the world, it's not just Billy, Lucy in Edmonton, and all around, Kavan in Pakistan, they all face these annoying protests, these people who just won't let go because the kids would like to see elephants. Of course, the kids don't know the truth. And they tell the public what they want them to hear. And one of the things they think the public wants to hear is that these elephants have suffered some trauma in their past. That's why they have this emotional, stereotypic robbing and bopping behavior. And releasing them to a sanctuary isn't going to change. It's psychologically ingrained and it's there forever. And for a long time, I listened to that. I knew intuitively there was something very wrong about it, but I didn't have proof. Well, now I have proof, because in 2001, when I formed Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary, and we had a lot of space, I made it known that we had land and we were rescuing elephants, and we rescued a number of elephants. And when Kavan was brought into international focus in Pakistan, I was part of a team, by no means alone involved. Many people contributed to this, and he was eventually rescued. And part of the reason the zoo was forced to release and close their exhibit is because we had made it known that Cambodia Wildlife Sanctuary would take him. And it was an appropriate zoo, and it was approved by CITES, and the court then ordered it. They wouldn't have ordered it without a place to take him. It's very much like we are now here in Los Angeles. They're claiming they have no place to send Billy. It's going to cost millions of dollars to send him to Paws, a wonderful sanctuary, millions of dollars to send him to Tennessee Elephant Sanctuary, another good place. Well, I've offered for years to take him in Cambodia for free. And we built a huge sanctuary for Kavan alone. He has 30 acres of jungle land just to himself, and a pool that's as big as this area we're all standing. It's a huge pool, and he's the only elephant that goes there. If Billy came, we would build him a parallel sanctuary. There'd be a dividing fence, and he'd have an equal area of land, and the two of them could be friends through the fence. Bull elephants together with females around, not a great idea. But they'd be good in that environment. And they're almost the same age. They're both Asian. One's from Sri Lanka, the other's from Malaysia, Billy. And when we moved Kavan from Pakistan, he was absolutely suffering the same way Billy is. Identical. We have it on film. And if you go to the EcoFlix channel, there's a film called Free Billy, and it will show you the comparison between Kavan and Billy. They're literally identical bulls, same age, everything. Within days in sanctuary in Cambodia, his stereotypic behavior slowed. Within 2 weeks, it stopped. And he's been there now for years and years, and it's been gone ever since. He has an idyllic life. He no longer attacks people like he did at the zoo before. If you came anywhere near him, you'd probably get killed. Now he's very gentle. Of course, we don't have people petting him, but the keepers are around him. He wanders to and fro, and it's a lovely life. And I have proof now that you can crate and transport an elephant like Billy and take him to sanctuary. So I am in the process of working with a team of people, and we can do this. We can crate Billy, we can take Tina with him, and we can move them both to Cambodia. They'll have all the space and the most lovely existence for an elephant you can imagine. All we need to do is convince the city council to just let him go. And this is no longer a situation where they can complain, well, we'd have to pay millions of dollars to send him to sanctuary. No, you don't have to pay anything. Just get out of the way. Let us take care of it. We'll have him crate trained in 30 days and on an airplane. So let's do this. Thank you.
Do it!
No, the politics is old. What's getting, I think, a little harder for the zoo, and they don't want to admit it, is they can't keep explaining why all their elephants are dying. And there's been so much press about Billy. There's only one place that wins the gold. So, you could argue that.
Hey, how are you?
Good, how are you?
Good, thanks for coming out.
Put the pressure on the council. This is a relatively new council. The people that I was arguing with years ago are gone. I mean, there's 3 mayors since then. We're on a 4th now. And every mayor said what they needed to say to get elected and then didn't do what they promised to do. So it's got to be a pressure campaign that's based on evidence. And the one piece of evidence that we didn't have before was proof that once you take them out, it'll actually benefit them. We have that now. Not only from Ruby, but also from Kavan. And there are very few living elephants that can say, I survived a zoo. So let's make Billy and Tina hopefully the last two elephants. Lucy, too, from Edmonton. Let's get them out and make them the last elephant zoos anywhere.
Wow, thank you, David. That was fascinating about Joyce's exposure about the fact that elephants don't exhibit any stereotypical behavior in the wild. I think that is really brilliant evidence, and thank you for illuminating us about the court trial and all the evidence that was presented there. I just don't know why it didn't work. It's so sad. But anyway, we're going to keep on, and right now I want to introduce you to two of our co-hosts who have been very active here at the zoo. One, first, Kirsten Cluster. Where are you, Kirsten? From Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me okay? Yeah. Hi. Thank you all for being here. This really means a lot to have all of you here with your hearts supporting Billy and Tina. And I couldn't agree more, David. We've got to get this done. This has been going on for far too long in this city. I'm Kirsten, by the way. I'm with Elephant Guardians of Los Angeles. We are really working on advocating for Billy and Tina with the city council. We've got to get a motion in front of our city council. We've got to get this passed. It's been far too long. We're all here today to bear witness to this story of the last two elephants suffering in captivity here at the Los Angeles Zoo. This is a story that has persisted in our city for far too long, as you've been hearing from these incredible speakers we've had this morning. I'd like to tell you a little bit about Billy and Tina's story. Billy, a male Asian elephant, he was brought here to the zoo in 1989. He has been held here since 1989. He was only 4 years old, taken out of the wild as an infant, brought into captivity for his entire life to amuse people, treated as an object of amusement. He has endured traumatic training, lack of space, lack of enrichment, lack of autonomy, and minimal social opportunities. He has never had the companionship or the mentorship of another bull elephant since he arrived here at the age of 4. He is limited to about an acre of space, which is just a fraction of the space needed for elephant well-being. As other speakers have noted, he is exhibiting the stereotypical bobbing behavior that is expressing his anguish. He is telling us in no uncertain terms that he is in anguish, and this city needs to pay attention. They are telling us. It's our job to listen. As other speakers have said, these behaviors are not seen in wild elephants. They are seen in animals who are trapped in zoos. Billy's behavior and his medical records indicate he is suffering physical decline and psychological trauma. Those are the facts. Tina, the sole female elephant left in the zoo, in violation of AZA regulations, has suffered a lifetime of abuse after being taken from the wild and sold into the circus industry. She arrived in the LA Zoo in 2010, and since she's been here, she has endured the deaths of her 2 companions, Jewel and Shanzi, who were both euthanized here within just the past few years. Like Billy, Tina engages in the swaying behavior, expressing her loneliness and grief. Female elephants are never alone. Tina is alone. She also suffers multiple physical health issues based on her medical records. Dr. Phil Inslee, a veterinarian specializing in zoological medicine and a noted expert on captive elephants, has issued a report concluding that the compromised health and welfare of both Billy and Tina requires their immediate transfer to an accredited sanctuary. While we can never restore all that Billy and Tina have lost, we have the opportunity to make amends for all they have suffered by joining the growing trend of releasing elephants to sanctuary, including the Oakland Zoo, who recently released Osh, a male African bull elephant. Like David was saying, this can be done. It's been done. We need to join that trend. We call upon the City of Los Angeles and the Los Angeles Zoo to listen to what the experts are saying and to join this compassionate and evidence-based example of other zoos of releasing these elephants to a sanctuary where they can thrive. It is past time. Billy and Tina deserve the chance to heal in a quiet, natural, wide-open space far from the noise and the crowds of a city zoo. A place where they can be elephants again. Please, Los Angeles, together we can create a happy ever after to their story. Thank you to In Defense of Animals and for all of you for being here in support of Billy and Tina.
Kirsten, I want you to be my speech writer. So we have a final co-host here from Los Angeles for Animals who rallies here at the zoo every single week. Step right up.
Hi, I'm Slick from Los Angeles for Animals, and we have a lot of our fellow Slicks here today. As Courtney said, we're here every single week. Rain or shine, we've been in here in front in 115-degree weather. We've been in here when it's been pouring rain. The only time we didn't come was when the zoo shut down because fires were raging. But every single week and sometimes within the week. Now, Billy's been in here for 3 decades. And during those 3 decades, group after group, including In Defense of Animals and others, have been here at the zoo for advocating for Billy over and over and over again. The hat seller that is over there has seen 30 years of protests. But sometimes time and years go by where there's no one here. Where because maybe there's not a motion on the books, but things die down. And Billy and the other elephants, Jewel and Tina and Shanzi, were without representation in front of the zoo. We invite you to join us, are making sure that that never happens again, that until they are free, there will be voices out in front of the zoo, raising loudly the call for sanctuary. We will make sure that never again, until that happens, that this plaza is empty of their advocates. So we join you to join us. Follow Los Angeles for Animals on Instagram and Facebook. I hate to support those platforms, but that's the world we live in. But we have the information for every single event. It's normally on Sundays, it's normally 10 to 12, but not always. So please join us. We always have flyers, we always have posters, we always welcome you with open arms. If you want to bring megaphones and chant, you can. You are their voice. You are the voice out here for Tina and Billy. And we were the voice for Jewel and Chauncey.
No wind is a headache, yeah. Thanks for standing by and guarding this.
I called her. I've been hitting you up. Way to come out. This just seems to impact this part.
Yeah.
Send him to sanctuary! 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 Send him to sanctuary!
Free Billy from a premature death!
Send him to sanctuary!
One ticket for you! A lifetime of misery for them! $22 for you!
A lifetime of misery for them!
A couple of hours for you!
A lifetime of misery for them!
One day out with the family for you!
A lifetime of misery for them!
One Saturday afternoon for you!
A lifetime of misery for them!
Stop Billy's torture! Stop Billy's pain!
LA Zoo is to blame!
Needless suffering, needless pain!
LA Zoo is to blame!
Stop Tina's torture! Stop Tina's pain!
LA Zoo is to blame.
Needless cruelty, needless pain!
LA Zoo is to blame.
Stop Billy's torture! Stop Billy's pain!
LA Zoo is to blame.
Needless suffering, needless pain!
LA Zoo
is to blame!
Stop Tina's torture! Stop Tina's pain!
LA Zoo is to blame.
Needless suffering, needless pain!
LA Zoo is to blame!
All your money, all your lives!
We will never compromise!
All your greed, all your lies!
We will never compromise!
All your talks on overtime!
We will never compromise!
All your money, all your lives!
We will never compromise!
All your greed, all your lies!
We will never compromise!
We will never compromise! Shame on you!
Shame, shame, shame on you!
Shame on you!
LA Zoo, shame on you!
Elephant killer, shame on you!
Elephant killer, shame on you!
Shame on you for what you do!
Shame on you for what you do! Shame, shame, shame on you! Elephant graveyard, shame on you! Shame on you for what you do! what do we do? When elephants are dropping dead here, what do we do? When innocent animals are held here against their will, what do we do? When innocent elephants are under attack, what do we do? What should you all do? Raise your fist and raise your voice.
Innocent animals have no choice.
Raise your fist, raise your voice.
Innocent animals have no choice.
Raise your fist and raise your voice.
Innocent animals have no choice.
For the animals we will fight.
How do you sleep at night?
For their freedom we will fight.
How do you sleep at night?
For your victims we will fight. For your innocent prisoners we will fight.
Showed up at the zoo with you guys
Voiceless
from
we will fight. Because there is no excuse. Having nothing better to do is no excuse. Refusing to evolve is no excuse. So-called education is no excuse. Your selfish desires are no excuse. Employment is no excuse. Convenience is no excuse. Free parking is no excuse. Easy overtime is no excuse. There is never an excuse.
U-turn. U-turn.
Oh, we just had a U-turn.
Woo! U-turn.
That we talk to that turns around. Unfortunately, we are surrounded by zombies walking past the picket line who don't even stop to talk to us to find out what is going on. Why are you out here being so annoying and making all this noise? If it was you stuck behind these metal prison bars, standing on concrete, walking in circles year after year, you would want someone speaking up for you. Instead, you just walk past us like brainless zombies.
Check this out.
Without even thinking of what these animals suffer, so that you can perhaps gawk at them for 5 seconds to the binoculars. Shame, shame, shame on you!
You could do Penelope and Matt. Okay, can she just wanted to take pictures with her stuffy. And
Sure. You can put your stuffed animal here.
Okay,
And you can hold this sign right here.
okay, you ready? Okay.
Yay! Good job! I'm proud of you guys. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. So proud of you.
You guys are awesome.
What a good mom. She's good.
I wanted to get an explanation. Oh my God, you got a U-turn. Wow.